All right, well, we're going to try this again. I'm super excited today to be bringing some valuable tools to you guys, our family, our friends, and today's focus will be on addressing fear. There's a lot of fear right now, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of unknown. And so I've brought on my friend Richard Morden, who is a life transition coach. He's certified and accredited in EFT, and that's the technique we're going to talk about today. And that's emotional freedom technique. This technique has been around since the 80s. I've been using it for 1.5 years, almost 2 years, not consistently, but now is a perfect time to remember some of the tools that we have. And if you've never heard of this, that's the whole point today, to bring something maybe to your awareness that you haven't tried before that we can use for fear. So thank you so much, Richard, for joining us. And we'd love to just go through this technique and explain why and what it can do for people.
Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate the opportunity to present this and share this technique, which is more valuable than ever in our days of chaos that we're having on. Emotional freedom technique is actually acupressure or energy psychology. So it works on the energy meridians in our body that were mapped out by the Chinese several thousand years ago. We just brought it down to a few simple tapping points of the heel of the hand, center of the eyebrow, side of the eyes, under the nose, chin crease, either side of the collarbone, under the armpit, and top of the head. Now, we will put a link to a video to demonstrate these further, so we're not going to explain that. But bottom line is we address what we're doing. We don't try and be happy with that. We're going to address the fear in this stage of the game. We are fearful, so we'll start tapping on the heel of the hand. And I use this in my life because I had some major traumatic events that I needed to move through, and literally this saved my life in a way of how I moved through those events with some coaching that. So I do firmly believe in my own life how this has worked. And, so I'm very confident in sharing with people. And yes, it looks crazy, but nothing is too off the in today's society. So again, we talk about our fear. I've had this, I have this great fear in my life of what's going on, and I don't know what to do. I'm afraid for my family. I'm afraid for my parents and my children, and I don't know what to do. And I don't know who to believe. So I'm very, very stressed and fearful. And we'll just talk, and we center the eyebrow. I'm afraid of what to do. I have this constant fear, and I can't stop watching the social media. People say turn it off, but it's like a bad magnet, just keeps pulling me in, and I can't stop watching, and I get more afraid all the time. And I don't know what choices to make. But I'm afraid. So what I want to do is also talk about where you're feeling this in your body, because oftentimes we don't acknowledge that where that fear is, but just paying attention to it and tapping. And then the armpit, about one hand below the armpit, under the side, and top of the head. So there's nothing right or wrong to say why we're doing this. The real point of this is the actual technique itself and just paying attention to how we feel, but just saying, I'm afraid. And there's you don't have to be perfect to say I'm angry. I'm really angry. And if you want to use I call it the Chevy Chase rant while you're doing this, you're certainly free to do so. I suspect you'd want to do that away from your children because there might be some stuff you want them to hear or not. But I'm afraid, I'm terrified, I'm frustrated, I'm angry. I don't know who to believe, and I don't know who to trust at this point. And now I'm suspicious because everybody I see out there could have the virus. Should I stay away from them? So we have all these things going on in our life. And just, again, we don't know what to do. So just even talking, I don't know what to do. But I also know I'm so anxious, I can't sleep. I can't breathe. I can't seem to relax. I feel like a cat on a roof. And I'm just really anxious all the time. So in this stress time, again, our cortisol goes up in the front of our brain. It also slows down part of our thinking. So when we start tapping, within about 15 minutes, we drop the cortisol level about 30%. So within that period of time, we already start to calm down, cortisol levels drop. We have a little more rational thinking. We come out of our fight or flight, a little more awareness. And there's no, again, you don't have to know every technique properly, every point properly. You just keep tapping. And you can also do this with the fingers on your hand. So sometimes if you're just sitting there and you're just feeling anxious, you just literally squeeze your fingers, and we do a lot of this naturally. So this is a very common technique. We oftentimes rub our forehead. That's another pressure point. We rub our chest like that. So the little things we can do just to calm ourselves down. and just breathe. And big thing is deep breaths. We get very shallow breathing and just deep breaths. While we're doing this, and we just keep squeezing this, and then we can do this anywhere. So it's not quite as obvious, but it's very simple even, and it's safe. Anybody can use this on their own. Doesn't matter. You cannot harm yourself doing this on your own. There's some videos online to watch. If you do want to work with someone else, I would strongly suggest they be certified, because there is ways to help somebody properly to do this. And just do it.
Yeah, I love that anyone can do it anywhere. You're driving, you're facing this, you can do this with one hand. And I think it can be a valuable tool for children too, who are also feeling our anxiousness and our fear right now. And we're very protective in our home of the language we're using right now. But yeah, and what I love too, Richard, about what you do is that, you know, especially in this time, I think women are really connecting a lot, or at least that's my experience, maybe because I'm a woman, but we have circles of people and we're getting together on lives and we're getting together through Zoom. And I don't know, are men connecting in during this time? And what I love is that you serve that population. And what comes to mind for me is potentially, and I could be wrong, but the fear that maybe men, as the traditional breadwinners in our culture that's been conditioned in us, how they might be feeling in this instability and this unknown right now. You know, that amount of fear going on and anxiousness. So I love that you are serving the male population as well, and that's a strong passion for you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We are. You know, in the 60+ range, we are the highest divorce rate and the highest suicide rate, and we end up going into self-medication. We don't know what to do, and we're not taught to reach out. We're conditioned to just isolate and suck it up and be a man, and it's not the right place and time anymore. It's time for us to really step in and honor our feelings, and hopefully ask our partners to support us. You know, but many of us are afraid because we may not have the income to support what we want to do. We don't know how to protect people from a virus. We want to be the protector and provider, and those roles are all changing. So it's just helping people come to grips with who they are and understand how resourceful we really are when we're allowed to be that.
Yeah, and just opening up our consciousness and our awareness that there are other means. There are other tools. We don't have to necessarily self-medicate. Actually, we don't even have to self-medicate, not necessarily. There are things out there. And so that was the main purpose of bringing you on today, is to just help open some eyes. So if you're watching and you want to share this, or you want to, you know, comment or tag someone, we'd really appreciate that. What we're here today to do is just serve. And I'll take maybe 2 minutes and talk about some oils that can help us with fear. 3 that came to mind to me today to talk about were peppermint. So peppermint, if you're new to the oil world, or maybe you've never experienced pure therapeutic grade essential oils, but when you breathe in an essential oil, it goes to the area of your brain called the limbic system that's in charge of emotion, mood, and memory. I know, Richard, you're familiar with them, but we can just breathe something in and affect the whole body very quickly. And so emotions are the fastest thing that we can affect. So peppermint, for example, not only does it make us feel awake and alert, but on an emotional standpoint, it helps us feel more happy and buoyant. So if you're feeling weighed down and heavy with everything that's going on, that's not surprising. And I hear you, and I'm feeling that too. So I lean in and rely on my oils, and I just put a drop in my hands and inhale like this. And if you do that for 20 to 30 seconds, even 5 seconds, you're taking the deep breath and reducing the cortisol levels, but you're getting that emotional connection with the oil and the impact. 2 more I want to talk about: Easy Air. Easy Air is an essential oil blend that helps with anything respiratory, so very important right now. But on an emotional standpoint, it helps us with grief and feelings of fear. If you've ever felt that heavy feeling, that tight chestedness, like Richard was talking about, we sometimes clutch our chest. This opens up the airways and opens up that feeling to reduce that pressure and reduce that feeling of heaviness and grief. So Easy Air, if you're American friends, it's called Breathe. And then the last one that I can't not talk about is a blend from doTERRA called Forgive. There's also Peace. I mean, I could probably talk about 30 oils to do with fear, but Forgive. Forgive is an essential oil emotional blend that will help you with forgiveness. So right now we're probably having a lot of feelings of maybe regret and fear, and I should have done this, I could have done that, why didn't I remortgage, why did I buy that big boat, whatever we're feeling, we can forgive ourselves with essential oils through our emotional impact, and forgive others. If you're, you know, or even I catch myself doing some judgments, and I'm like, no, don't judge anyone right now. Hopefully we're all just doing our best with the information we have and in that moment of time. So those are just some quick oil blends, because you guys know that that's my passion, where I am, to impact health and emotional stability, and in that way. So that's what I wanted to deliver today. But Richard, is there anything else? I'd love to pass on where people can find you, so that if they have more questions, we will post I'll go back and put a link in here about the basics of the technique, but where can they find you?
I just have a front Facebook page called qapproach.com, my contacts there. My Facebook is Life Transition page with Richard Morden. So happy to reach out. Again, happy to share any tips, or I can pass along just a brief conversation with someone, and any information you require, just reach out to me, and I'll do what I can to help and offer advice. So thank you very much for this opportunity, Wendy.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time with us today. All right, everyone, take care. Have a great day. And if you have questions, please post below. Share this video. I would love to see more people learn about EFT.
Thank you.